Hmm. Okay, let me make sure we're live here. Oh, there we go. Blank screen. Hopefully you can see me now. Okay, and let's record this live. There I am. Cool. Hi, everyone. It's Thursday, September the 6th. It is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'm coming at you from Hood River, Oregon. And I just want to say hi, hello to all my manifestors. Welcome to those of you who are new in the group. I am excited to have you here. And I want to remind you that we're currently doing a giveaway. So there's several ways that you can have an entry. You can have, I think, up to like 5, 6+ entries when we do the computer generated. Is it computer generated? I have to check with my assistant on that. But I know that the more entries you have in the giveaway for the Manifest Challenge, the Law of Attraction giveaways, then the higher chance you have of winning. So click the pinned post. The prizes are really good. Two of my favorite books on law of attraction, the basics, the introductions, although the one by Esther Hicks could be a little bit more advanced for those of you who are new to it, but You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay is very basic and is one of the books that I keep on my bedside table. It's one of my favorites. And then I also have the Awaken Essential Oil from Young Living, which I love. Look at the pin post so you can see all the benefits of that just truly amazing oil. Okay. And so it's all about getting more like-minded people inside the group so that I can talk to them and teach them, just like I am with you, how to use law of attraction in your life, how to create results in your life, how to get into the mindset that actually attracts and manifests the things that you want in your life, not the things that you don't want. Because isn't that the goal, right? We have this, well, we think one life, right? We might have different ideas about whether we have one life or many lives, but the life that we know about is this one right here on earth. So in this body and in this time. And so why not make it the best, most blissful, most satisfying life that you can lead? That's my thinking. And if you've been following me long enough, you know that I always say life is now. Life is now. It's not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's not next year. So, I come from a family where we've had lots of deaths, lots of young deaths. So I think that has really motivated me into this energy of not waiting for what I want. It doesn't mean that I'm impatient, but it means that I don't let fear stop me. I don't let other people's opinions or judgments stop me. I don't let my past experiences stop me from going for what I want and for envisioning and believing in what is possible for me and then taking the steps to make it happen, because life is now. And you see that I shared 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, that a friend of mine died at 39 years old. So and my mother died at 45, and I had a friend in high school who died at 15, and lots of family members in between. And so the point of me sharing that with you, and you may have had the similar experience in your own life, is that we do not know when we are going to go. And so that is why life is now. And so it's really important. If you're in this group, it's important that you know what I stand for. And what I stand for is the importance of following your heart, your passions, your vision, living life on your terms, not someone else's, not society's, not popular opinion, not other groups, but really tapping into who you are and then pursuing that with unapologetic fever and passion and commitment. So today we are going to talk about how to hear your own voice. This is a really big one. It's a really important one. How to hear your own voice amidst all of the other noise out there, all the other voices, the voices in your family, the voices in your social circles, the voices in media, even the voices in your mentors. How do you get connected with what your voice is, what your internal voice is, right? How do you know that you're living what your truth is, that you're pursuing what it is that you actually want to do, not what has been imposed on you or what you think you need to do? So, have you ever said to yourself when somebody asks you what it is that you want, have you ever replied, I don't know what I want? If you have, let me know in the comments. I don't know what I want. How many times have you said this or thought this statement? I hear it from people very often, more times than I'd like to hear it. And here's my response to that. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you actually do know. You just have to get clear enough to get to the bottom of it, to remember what it is that you want. So here's 2 things here. If you're feeling like in this moment, and let me know if you are in the comments so that I can reach out and support you even further. If you feel like you don't know what it is that you want right now in life, whether that's personal, relationship, career, anything, if you feel like you don't know what it is that you want, here is my automatic response to that. Either number 1, you are in a receptive cycle right now in your life. And what I mean by that is life is cyclical, right? And if you believe in numerology and astrology and all of that, and this is not about that, but if you do, you would hear a lot, you would know a lot about numerology, about there being like a 9-year life cycle. And it's just like nature, right? If you think about harvesting or planting, farming. I'm a little bit ignorant on this topic, so I'm sure I'll skip some steps, right? But you plant the seeds, you sow the seeds, you water, you take care of it, right? And there's a whole season where you don't see anything. You're putting in the work. You're putting in the vision, the manifestation of what it is that you want to manifest. You're putting in the vision, the work, the steps. And then you start to see things sprout, right? And then bloom, and then you reap the harvest, and then you've got to till it or whatever, take it all down again and start again, right? So it's cyclical in nature, just like it is in our lives. Sometimes we forget that everything is nature and spirit and energy, and that we're connected. If you want to be reminded, just look at nature, look at animals. I'm living on a non-active fruit and flower farm right now. So I'm reminded on a daily basis on these 40 acres that I'm living on. I'm reminded day in and day out as I see animals just all over the place. And I see the river that runs through the property and all of that. Just how much things are on a natural cycle. So I got a little bit off track, but the point of me sharing that with you is you could actually be in that kind of cycle right now. You could be in the receptive time in your life, which is more of a feminine time. It's not a time to create and make things happen. It could be a time to really receive, take in information, collect data and feedback, and really get quiet, really get introspective. And this is going to tie into the next part here, but it could be a time for you to be really introspective so that you're ready to move into action when things become really clear. So if we were thinking about numerology, and for those of you who know numerology, this will resonate with you. For those of you who don't, you can Google, and I would say Google Dan Millman. He's one of the people that I follow in numerology. He's just one of them. And look up the 9 life cycles. So if you're in a 7-year, for instance, in numerology, a 7-year is the quintessential, like, you're in the receptive mode. It's not a year to start new things. You're going to feel a little bit confused. Like, you don't have very clear definitions of, I want to do this now, and this makes sense, and that is next. So if you're in that cycle, respect it. For people like myself, who are doers and are highly motivated and self-motivated, that can be a tough year. I was in that year last year. And it's interesting because it was the year I launched my new business, my new coaching business, at the end of last year in December, right? But that whole year leading up to it, I was feeling that, like, oh, I know there's something I want to do. I want to give. I want to coach. I know I want to do it online. It's not all falling into line the way, like, I don't know exactly how I want to execute it, right? So there was still, I knew ideally the vision of what I wanted, but the strategy, the fine points, that wasn't clear to me. And finally, I had to just let it go in recognition that I was in that feminine, receptive, don't make moves, don't do something new, don't push, don't pull, it will all make sense. And when I did let go of that, and it was a very introspective year for me, then I got to really enjoy the beauty of that year. And now I'm in the harvest year, right? So that's like the waiting year. Things were sprouting, I did all the work, and that 7-year is like, okay, it's not ready to eat yet. You know, like, you're waiting. And now 8 is the harvest year, where you reap what you sow. So depending on what you have planted, watered, what you've encouraged, what you've focused on, right? Make the parallels here between manifestation, focusing your attention and all of that. What you put attention and focus into over those course of the 6-7 years is what you're really going to reap now, for instance, in an 8-year. I don't mean to make this all about numerology, but I'm hoping at least you're connecting the dots there. So you could be in that type of cycle. And even if you are, and if you're not, I would say the reason you don't know what you want most of the time is because you have too many outside influences. You have too many outside influences. So it could be strong friends, right? Friends with really strong personalities, family members, media, groups that you belong to, even some coaches and mentors. So if you know that you have a lot of outside influence and you're constantly asking for people's opinion, or you're worried about what people think, or you're looking to see what other people are doing and you're comparing yourself, then that is going to really cloud your own judgment, right? It's going to deafen your voice, your intuition, your intuitiveness, what you know to be true for you. When you're going to make a decision, you may be pulled stronger. You may be being pulled in a stronger way towards something that's really not your true voice, because you haven't heard your voice in so long, and all these other voices are so powerful. Does that make sense to you? If you're following along with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Let's see who's on. Hi, Akila. Yes. Okay, great. So let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you, if you're following. So I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do to start quieting out everything else so that you can actually hear your own voice and follow your voice, your calling. what you are meant to do or what the next best choice is for you. Okay. So number one, you've got to drown out the noise. You got to drown it out. There's so much noise in today's society. And I don't just mean traffic. I mean noise from other people and other influences. So one of my clients, Tanya, she has something, because she helps people with stress management. She has something called the digital detox. And I absolutely love this. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's scheduled times, whether it's time of day, whether it's a complete day, whether it's an entire weekend, or God forbid, a week. Oh my God, where you completely detox from anything digital. Phone, computer, internet, all of that. And you can also do that incrementally in steps. It could be just the phone. It could be just the internet. It could be just the television, right? Think about it. How many of you have your phone with you everywhere, even you take it to bed? I used to be guilty of that. I used to take my phone to bed with me because why? It has an alarm. Well, isn't that convenient? No, not really. Because if you have it in your bedroom, you're probably online, you're scrolling, you're getting more information, you're texting, you're looking at the news. Worst thing you can do before you go to bed, right? So maybe that's where you start. Maybe that's your first step. Maybe you stop taking your phone to bed and you get one of those traditional flip alarms like I have, and that's how you get up. So what I do is I have a shut off time for my phone most nights. It doesn't mean that there's not exceptions. There are exceptions. There's not an exception with me taking it to my bed. I don't do that. But there are some exceptions where I'll have the phone and I'll do some texting with friends or something into the evening. But 9 times out of 10, the phone is put away, it's on silent, and I'm not looking at it past 7 o'clock, right? Past 7 or 8 o'clock. Once I get my daughter settled and all of that. And that's it. I also detox from television, right? So aside from us maybe doing a movie night or something like that, I'm not watching TV before bed. The only thing I do before bed is read or journal, right? Because that's giving quiet time. It's time for you to detox your mind and settle into your own thoughts and your own rhythm. You can even take that so far as to not use your phone on certain days of the week. I've been starting to do that now on Sundays when I have family days where I just leave the phone. I don't have it with me. And all day long in my household, nobody's on the television, right? So TV is off. That includes news, anything like that, until after dinner time. And then we'll have some television time. So that really well, I'm just giving you an example. You don't have to do this, but this is an example of how you can start to have a digital detox where you can start to drown out the news, the media, social media, right? Where you're not on Facebook, you're not on Instagram. Just little things like that. That's something so simple. Will start to quiet things down around you. It will start to quiet down your brain so that you can actually hear your own thoughts and ideas. Make sense? Let me know. Give me a like, a thumbs up, a heart. Let me know if that makes sense to you. And if that's something that you feel you want to start doing in your life, let me know in the comments. Let me know when you plan to do it and what you plan to do. So right along with this is you can schedule quiet time. Just schedule quiet time. It doesn't have to be meditation. It can be. I do this every morning. Most of the time it's meditation for me. And meditation is just sitting in your chair, just sitting in silence. It doesn't have to be something fancy. You don't have to be chanting. You don't have to be completely void of all thoughts. That's the goal. But it's just sitting and scheduling, just scheduling that time to just sit and be quiet. Maybe you do it in the middle of the day. Maybe you do it at the end of the day before bed. Okay, so scheduling quiet time. Journaling is another way to drown out the noise. Just get a piece of paper, Get a notebook, get a piece of paper, and just start writing what you feel. Write what's in your mind, write what you've been afraid of, write what you've been thinking about, write something that happened, just free flow and see where that takes you. You'll be surprised. I know I am always surprised at what comes out when I just journal, when I just free flow and I don't read it, I don't edit it, I just start writing. It's like, ooh, where'd that come from? Right? There's something I get to explore a little bit more. So another way to drown out the noise is sometimes you need to decrease your socialization. I'm all about community, friends, family, all of that. But how much quiet time, how much alone time do you give yourself? Alone time is so crucial. It's so critical to being able to, like we're talking about, hear your own voice and not be constantly influenced by others. Group think, group group mentality can be very dangerous. If you've got people in that group or even just one person who has a really strong personality and is leading you into toxic thoughts, a complainer, a blamer, somebody who likes to stir the pot, somebody who's always bringing negativity into the group, right? We all know that person or people who, when you say, how are you doing? They always have a long list of problems, right? If you're spending a lot of your time with that type of person or those types of people, and the more people you have in a group who are like that, it's contagious. That starts piling. And that's manifestation, by the way. That's why often when you see something reported in the news and then it's reported and even more and more detail and over and over and over, you start to see more of that pop up everywhere. We are powerful. Everything that is going on around us and that you see in our life is a product of mass manifestation, mass focus. What we think about, what we focus on, we actually create into being. So you've got to be really selective with the groups that you spend your time with and the people that you spend your time with. So a way to drown out the noise is really be careful with the groups. Really be careful with socializing. If you're somebody who goes out every day, every weekend, and you're in loud bars, restaurants, you're constantly surrounded by a lot of people. Even if they're super positive, right? So even if you're still mostly hearing the voices of other people, you need quiet time. And so get rid of the negative groups and the negative people 100%. Really fuel yourself with positive energy, positive people who are going the direction that you want, people who take responsibility for themselves, go-getters, maybe spiritual people, maybe even people that share the same spiritual views as you do. Be around people that are like-minded and that are where you want to be, or at least going there. And even when you get in those groups and have that kind of support, you still need to monitor the amount of time that you're spending with others. Spend more time with yourself if that's something that you need to do. If you know you're someone who is constantly needing to be surrounded by other people, need to be where all the noise and commotion is, okay? So that's a bunch of bullet points underneath drown out the noise. Number 2 is take more risks. That's how you're going to hear more of your own voice and more of what you want. Get out of your comfort zone, take more risks, go against the grain, and whatever happens as a result of you doing that, trust me, you're going to hear yourself loud and clear what it is you want or don't want as a result of what transpires from you taking more risks, okay? The third thing, ask yourself the important questions that maybe other people don't ask you. So this requires you, of course, to spend more time by yourself, to have more quiet time. Even you can do this in journaling, you can do this out loud. A lot of times I do this when I'm taking a walk in nature. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I holding back on? What am I avoiding? What am I not doing because I'm afraid of how people in my family are going to think about me, how my friends, how people on Facebook are going to think about me? What am I holding back on? Right? What would I do? What would I do if I wasn't worried about what other people thought about me? What would I do if I wasn't worried about failing? Ask yourself the tough questions. Most people are not going to be direct with you. If you've got a really direct, straight up, honest friend, consider yourself lucky. But even that friend's not going to always be direct and honest with you, because there's a fine line, and because perhaps they have been in the past and you've resisted, right? So you have to ask yourself the really tough questions. Okay? So drown out the noise with all those things I listed, take more risks, ask yourself important questions, and then finally get support. Get support from someone who is going to help you see your blind spots. Get support from somebody who can help you go deep into these questions, right? This is one of the main things that I'm so proud of that I'm able to do with my clients, is I really get to help them go deep, to get out of the surface, to learn how to quiet out the noise, and to ask those questions, to do those exercises, to go outside of your comfort zone, to take risks. All of these things that help the people that I'm working with really have the breakthroughs that they want in their life. And this is always what I look for in a coach. And my coach will tell you, you all know that my business coach, I have an itch. My current business coach is Shanda Sumter. I said to her from the beginning, do not let me play small. Do not let me hide. Do not let me retreat. Be direct with me. Stretch me. Like, that's what I'm paying you for, right? I want that, because I have to tell you, I am a strong personality. So I don't often get it. Other people don't often offer it to me because they just assume, that I don't need it. But I do. We all do. We all need support. We all need somebody to help us be accountable. We need people to help point out our blind spots, because we don't know what we don't know, and we can't see everything when we're in it. So if you get quiet enough to drown out all the other noise, if you take more risks in your life, if you ask yourself the important questions, and you get support from someone who specifically you have asked or you've hired to actually help you with that, then you're not going to have any problem hearing your voice, knowing when to make a decision, knowing what decision to make, knowing when to make a move, when to give more and when to pull back. That's so important, especially as time goes on, right? I know I want to make less mistakes, less unnecessary mistakes, because there's so much I want to accomplish. So if that's you as well, try even just one of these 4 things that I listed, and let me know what you're feeling right now. I'm going to pop on my phone because that's how I have to see you guys. Let's see. Hi, Mary. Hi, Arden. Hi, Lynette. Great. I need to start doing that with my Facebook account. I'm starting to confuse myself. Okay, great. What are you confusing yourself with, Akila? I might not be able to see it all right now. Leave some groups. Yes, you got to be careful. Choose the groups that you're on in Facebook. Choose them wisely, because here's what happens. Facebook knows law of attraction too. So they assume that if you're in one group, you want more groups like that. And so they'll start popping them up for you, and they'll start showing you things from people in that group or from other people who are in similar groups. So yes, choose, just like you're choosing your friends in real life, choose where you spend your time on social media, choose it wisely. And if you've got information coming at you from all different angles, which is I mean, that's normal on social media, then you need to start unfriending, leaving groups. When I take on clients often, especially if I'm helping them with business or something, I have them unsubscribe from almost every single email list they're on. Shiny object syndrome, right? Because I really help people get clear and focused and dialed in. If you're trying to get pieces from everybody, believe me, you're going to get watered down. So quiet down the noise. Quiet down the noise. Start to tap into who you are and what it is that you want. Okay, anybody else? All right, guys. Well, that is our time for now. Remember, I'm here every Thursday. I wasn't here last Thursday, and maybe that's why we have a smaller live today, live audience. I wasn't here last Thursday because I take a flex week the last week of every month, which allows me to decompress from work. It allows me more creative time on my business. It allows me more time with my family, more rest and recovery. And if you're somebody who wants to be able to do that in your life, reach out to me. Send me a private message. And if you need help applying any of these tips that I shared here with you, then also send me a private message and I am happy to support you. Okay, I'll see you all next week. Please leave your comments in the comments subject, or in the comments section here, and it will tag me and I'll be able to go through and reply to any questions or comments that you have. Bye, everyone.